Is my narrative speech. Here's my audience.
How you doing?
There's no idea what I'm about to tell you, so here goes. Okay. Hopefully you believe in ghosts, and if not, this speech will definitely help you to believe it. 6 years ago, me and my child's mother moved into a residence on 6th Street by Anderson University. And we moved in here not knowing any of the background of the residence, not knowing anything. Talked to our neighbor who lived at her residence for 60 years. Her parents owned the house before she did, and she inherited it through their will when they died. And we move into this house. Just weird things would always happen. The lights would turn on, which were pull cords, so you'd hear them click on and off. Doors would always open. Windows would open and close. Got pictures of apparitions, half-bodied spirit figures. Got a picture of a demon's face on a glass window that was on the outside of my house one night at 3 o'clock in the morning. And what made it even more creepy is we found out the history of our house, and turns out that about 25 years ago there was a little girl that lived in this residence with her grandparents. It was a 4-bedroom house. 2 of the bedrooms were located pretty much together. There was one of the bedrooms was between another bedroom, and it had a half door that the bottom and top would open and close differently, so you could leave the bottom closed and open the top for air to circulate through. Well, this little girl that lived there, her bedroom was that middle bedroom that had the 2-door and or the half door, and all of this we find out that the grandfather, along with the uncles and the cousins, molested this little girl. This little girl ends up, after years of being molested, ends up going to the hospital because she became impregnated by one of her family members and had to get an abortion. And then the doctors decided that would be safer for the little girl to get a hysterectomy. She was 14 years old at the time. Well, turns out she had a syndrome called Turner syndrome, and that is when your X and Y chromosomes from the male and female meet, that the child is formed only having one chromosome. Like the male produces no chromosomes when the egg is fertilized. Child can be born, but they will have health defects and things along these lines, with things like stunted growth, stout arms, stout limbs, deformation like a swayed back, just things like that, like health conditions, like anything in the inside, like anything to do with their intestines. All their internal organs are always messed up. They all have health issues. Well, this little girl ended up dying from everything that happened to her, and the grandfather got put into prison for life for numerous charges. And we talked to our neighbor about the whole situation, and she tells us the stories about how she used to be able to hear the little girl screaming from the room. She used to hear so many numerous things going on from this house. And what made it even more weird, why if you don't believe in ghosts, this will definitely make you believe, is me and my ex were currently pregnant at the time. And come to find out that our daughter, whose room was also this little girl's room, also had Turner syndrome. And it is a 1 in 0.6 of a millionth of a chance for someone to even develop Turner syndrome, let alone for 2 people to reside into the same residence for the actual same syndrome. So me and my ex lost our child due to Turner syndrome. We lost her at 6 months, and everything started happening after we lost our child. That was crazy. Like all the door handles kept falling off that was on the middle room where our daughter's room was. Like doors would unlock themselves and swing wide open. everything in the house would turn off and on. Radio stations would change. DVD players would eject themselves. Just pretty much anything that has to do with hauntings. Numerous friends would always come over and notice that something weird was going on in my house. And it's pretty much what finalized everything for us was the gentleman, the grandfather, tried to appeal his charges in court, and all of his appeal papers got sent to our house. And I know it's a felony and a federal offense, but me and my kid's mother decided to open these papers and read the exact charges that this man was charged with. And me and her both felt that child molester deserves to stay in prison forever. So we caught the papers on fire, and that was the end of it, and we moved out. But there was people that we lived there for 11 months, and there was people that didn't even live there a week and would move in and move out. Our neighbor told us stories how some people wouldn't even get the moving truck finished unloading, and they would literally pack it back up and leave because the house was so crazy and nuts. But yeah, that is my narrative, and hopefully you like it.
This is a good story.